Good day, good day, good day, and welcome back to Celebrity Watchdog, the only channel on the internet that keeps its nose exactly where it belongs, directly in celebrity business. Now, before we get into today's chaos, quick favor. If you are loving what we do here, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, share this with somebody who lives for drama, and tap that notification bell because trust me, you do not want to miss what we are about to unpack today. Okay, are you seated? Are you hydrated? Because what we are about to discuss is going to have you throwing your phone across the room and then immediately picking it back up. We are talking about Kylie Jenner, Timothée Chalamet, a marriage proposal that the internet absolutely was not ready for, and a certain supermodel sister whose reaction has everybody talking. That's right, Kendall Jenner is reportedly not exactly throwing confetti over this one. So buckle up, because today on Celebrity Watchdog, we are going all the way in. Let's set the stage first, because context is everything, people. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet have been one of Hollywood's most talked about, most debated, wait, are they actually serious, couples for the past 3 years. When they first went public, the internet practically short-circuited. On one side, you had Kylie, the self-made billionaire, the lip kit queen, the woman who single-handedly turned Rise and Shine into a cultural moment. On the other side, Timothée, the brooding, beret-wearing, generational talent type who looks like he reads poetry at midnight and cries to French cinema. These two were so different that people thought it was a PR stunt, a phase, a very expensive, very stylish phase. But here we are, 3 years later, and not only are they still together, Timothée Chalamet apparently looked this woman in the eyes and said, "You know what? Forever sounds good." And Kylie said yes. Yes, people, yes. Now, let's talk about how this proposal reportedly went down, because of course it wasn't just a quiet dinner and a ring. This is Kylie Jenner. Nothing in her life is quiet. According to sources close to the couple, Timothée planned something that was equal parts romantic and cinematic, which honestly tracks for a man whose entire personality is cinema. We're talking an intimate setting, carefully curated, the kind of moment that feels like it was shot by a director of photography even when there's no camera in the room. Very Timothée-coded. Very, I studied the art of romance like it was a role I was preparing for. And by all accounts, it worked. Kylie reportedly was completely overwhelmed, in the best possible way. The ring? Let's just say it was not subtle. This is a Kardashian-Jenner woman. Subtle was never on the table. But here is where the story takes a sharp left turn, and this is the part that has Celebrity Watchdog's ears absolutely ringing. While the world is busy celebrating this engagement and debating what the wedding is going to look like, and trust us, we will get to that, there is one person in the Jenner household whose vibe has reportedly been a little less "congratulations, sis," and a little more interesting. And that person, Kendall Jenner, the tall one, the supermodel, the one who has been linked to her own roster of very famous, very attractive men over the years. Now look, we are not here to drag Kendall. We love Kendall. But the reports and the body language and the social media behavior tell a very specific story. And on Celebrity Watchdog, we follow the story wherever it leads. So what exactly is going on with Kendall? Let's be real for a second. Growing up Jenner, or Kardashian Jenner, or whatever the official title is, means growing up in a family where everything is a competition. Even when nobody is officially keeping score, everybody is keeping score. The cameras have been rolling since these kids were in middle school. Every milestone, every relationship, every business move gets compared, analyzed, ranked. And for a long time, Kendall had something none of her sisters had: the fashion world, the runways, the prestige, the "I'm not just reality TV, I'm art" energy. And that was her lane, and she owned it. But here is the thing about Timothée Chalamet that nobody is saying out loud, so Celebrity Watchdog is going to say it. Timothée is not just a celebrity. He is a cultural moment. He is the kind of person that fashion magazines, art critics, and film festivals all agree on, which almost never happens. He is Willy Wonka and Paul Atreides and the guy who makes film directors weep with gratitude. He exists in a space that is closer to Kendall's world than Kylie's, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire tension of this story. Think about it like this. Imagine your younger sibling just started dating the most critically acclaimed, aesthetically sophisticated, culturally relevant man on the planet, a man who fits perfectly into the world you built your identity around. And then they got engaged, while you are over here cycling through situationships and trying to keep your own life off the blogs. That is not just a sisterly moment. That is a full psychological event. And Kendall Jenner, whether she admits it or not, is living inside that event right now. Sources have noted that Kendall's response to the engagement news on social media was noticeably measured. Not cold, not rude, but measured. Where the rest of the family was erupting in all-caps excitement and heart emojis and story reposts, Kendall was reportedly much more low-key about the whole thing. Now, some people are saying that's just Kendall being Kendall. She has always been the more reserved one, the one who keeps things close to her chest. And that is a fair point. But the timing of this reserved energy, combined with everything else we know, is painting a very specific picture. And let's not gloss over the Timothée factor from Kendall's perspective for one more second. These are people who travel in the same circles: fashion week, film premieres, the kind of events where everybody knows everybody and the seating charts are basically a chess game. Kendall and Timothée have been in the same rooms. They have mutual connections. At one point, the internet was even briefly convinced they might have had their own situation, though nothing was ever confirmed. So now he is not just her sister's boyfriend, he is her sister's fiancé, and that changes the energy of every room they will all be in together for the rest of their lives. Holidays, family events, the Kardashian Christmas card. Timothée Chalamet will be there, and Kendall will be standing somewhere in that photo, giving nothing away, because she is a professional. Now, let's flip the coin. Because on Celebrity Watchdog, we always give you both sides. There is an equally valid argument that people are reading way too much into this. Kendall Jenner is a grown woman with a full life, a thriving career, and enough self-awareness to know that her younger sister getting engaged is not a reflection on her. She has been in this family long enough to understand that someone is always getting engaged, or having a baby, or launching a brand, and the world will spin regardless. Maybe her low-key response was not jealousy at all. Maybe it was maturity. Maybe it was intentional privacy. Maybe Kendall simply does not want to perform emotions for the internet. And honestly, respect. But here is what makes this story impossible to ignore. The Kardashian-Jenner family does not do low-key. That is not in their DNA. Their entire empire was built on radical openness, on sharing everything, on making the audience feel like they are part of the family. So when one member of that family suddenly gets quiet at a moment when everyone else is being loud, that silence is its own statement. That silence has a message, and we are here to read it. Now, let's zoom out and talk about what this engagement actually means for the cultural landscape, because Celebrity Watchdog is not just here for the gossip, we are here for the analysis. Kylie Jenner marrying Timothée Chalamet would be one of the most talked about celebrity weddings in recent memory. We are talking about the convergence of two entirely different worlds: the Kardashian-Jenner media machine, which has been the dominant force in pop culture for over a decade, and the prestige Hollywood world that Timothée represents. This is not just a wedding, this is a merger. This is the Super Bowl of celebrity events. The fashion alone is going to break the internet 17 times before the reception even starts. Designers are going to be fighting each other for the chance to dress this bride. The guest list is going to read like every industry decided to show up at the same time. And the content, my goodness, the content, is going to sustain the entire internet for months. And where does that leave Kendall? Well, here is the delicious irony. As maid of honor, because let's be honest, that is the most likely scenario, Kendall Jenner is going to be standing right there at the altar, perfectly dressed, perfectly poised, watching her younger sister marry the man who could have easily been right at home in Kendall's world. And she is going to smile. She's going to hold those flowers. She's going to give a toast that is probably eloquent and warm and just measured enough to keep the gossip blogs guessing. Because that is what Kendall Jenner does. She survives everything with her composure intact. That, honestly, is its own kind of power. The Jenner sisters have always had a complicated dynamic. Not dysfunctional, not toxic, just the very natural complexity that comes from growing up famous, growing up fast, and growing up with the world watching your every move. They love each other fiercely. Nobody who has watched this family across the years can doubt that. But love does not cancel out competition. Love does not erase the very human experience of watching someone else get something that touches close to home and feeling something complicated about it. Kendall is not a villain in this story. She is just a person. A very tall, very stylish, very famous person navigating something that most families navigate in private, except hers never gets that luxury. So where do we land on all of this? Kylie and Timothée are engaged, the wedding is going to be the event of the year, Kendall's feelings are complicated and human and completely understandable, and we here at Celebrity Watchdog will be watching every single development with both eyes wide open and the notification bell firmly activated. This story is nowhere near over. It is in fact just beginning. Thank you so much for watching, you absolute legends. We will see you in the next one.